Wildcat Sports Pub. The Wildcat is on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And so you can get over to them 7 days a week, including game day. And of course, you know, the NFL plays on Thursdays. They play on Sundays. They play on Mondays. Sometimes they play on Saturdays. And you can not only go and see the NFL, but you can go and see college football and all the sports that you love. Go see the NBA, see the NHL, and so on and so forth at the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. We suggest that you head over there today. Let them know that DT sent you, and appreciate you so much for that positivity and that love that you bring by supporting the wonderful businesses that we work with, including the Wildcat Sports Pub. And of course, the Fantasy Football Power Hour is here for Week 10 of the 2024-25 NFL season. And as always, you can feel free to send your messages in to me from any one of our three ways that you are streaming with us live. You can go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt to this video, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt to this video, or wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, and send us your question about your specific team. Do you need help with setting your roster? Do you need help with adding to your bench, waiver wire, free agency? Were you offered a trade? Whatever it may be, we are happy to help you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. All you have to do is send us over a message, and I'm more than happy to help you in planning out your team for this week and beyond. So if you have a thought, send it over. Happy to help you out, and love what we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora when it comes to fantasy football. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I decided to make it a big part of the show years ago, and you responded all over the country and outside of the country by asking your questions and connecting with the show. So I can't thank you enough for that. I really do appreciate it. And as you know, it means a lot to me. And as you know, we're on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So if you have a question about your fantasy team, you could send it to any one of our live feeds. You can also send it to any one of our social media channels. Just make sure that you get in touch with me as soon as possible so that I can answer your questions. I don't want to miss a question, so make sure you send those over to me as soon as you can. And the easiest thing to do is to reply in real time here so that I can see it and I can answer it live. So we're going to start with Thursday Night Football as we always do. Then we're going to go from Thursday night to the game in Munich for this week, the game that's in Germany, which is the Giants against the Panthers. And then from there, we're going to go through the Sunday slate, the 1 o'clocks, as well as the midday games. And then we'll finish up with Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. This week, the Browns, the Packers, the Raiders, and the Seahawks are off. So do not play any of those teams' players. I mean, if you do, then it's a waste of a week. So make sure that you don't do that, and make some good decisions out there, folks. We're here to help you make the best decisions that you possibly can. And so make sure that you're here with us asking your questions so that I can help you out to the best of my ability. And I appreciate you all for tuning in. So week 10 of the 2024-25 NFL season, let's hop right into it. And I'll be looking at the live feeds here. If you have a question that comes in, be happy to address your questions. So with that being said, we're going to go right into the first game. And that first game, Thursday Night Football. This is a good game, and I'm very excited for it as we have the opportunity to have an AFC North matchup between the Bengals and the Ravens. So Bengals and Ravens going up against each other, and I'm just making sure we didn't have any questions coming yet. Okay, so Bengals at the Ravens, Thursday Night Football. This is going to be a great Thursday night game. I'm really excited to see this game kick off, and we're going to start with the Bengals. We always start with the road team first, so we'll go to the Bengals first and foremost here, and who you should play in this game. Well, Joe Burrow is a yes. Chase Brown, I'm going to put him as a low-end running back 2, high-end running back 3 in this matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. He was a rookie last year. Some people wrote him off this year for Zach Moss. Like immediately, we're like, no, he's not going to be the guy. And I'm like, he was a rookie last year. Give the guy some time. I know Zach Moss is on injured reserve with a neck injury, and they have Khalil Herbert, who they brought over from Chicago, who drafted him. But to me, I mean, Chase Brown's not a bad guy to have out there. I mean, hopefully he's your third or fourth running back. Jamar Chase is worth the play. T. Higgins didn't practice on Tuesday with a quad injury, so just make sure you monitor that. God willing, everybody that's injured in any way, shape, or form, in or out of the game of football, will be healthy, safe, happy, and will heal completely and for good. And no matter what, will heal through the grace of God and will handle well whatever comes their way in and out of their control. So always praying that you heal completely and that you heal for good. So in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, amen. I think it's important to say that prayer for everyone, not just football players. And definitely hoping the best for everyone and hoping that you get to do what you love and be at full strength to do everything, mentally, emotionally, economically, spiritually, physically. Hoping the best for all of you. So Jamar Chase, worth the play. On the other side of it for the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, I shouldn't have to tell you. Now, Lamar, he didn't practice with his knee injury. He's questionable. Do I feel like Lamar will be out there? Knowing how seeing how competitive Lamar Jackson is. Now, remember, when he was in his contract year, he was out. And I questioned, was he out because he was hurt or was he out because of the contract negotiations and he doesn't want to put himself in a bad position? But, Lamar, this guy's a baller. I covered him in college when he was at Louisville. And, he's got a lot to offer when it comes to reality and when it comes to fantasy football. In both worlds, he has a lot to offer. So, if he's able to go, then he is worth the play. Derrick Henry's worth the play no matter what. And outside of that, taking a look at the rest of the team for Baltimore. I mean, Zay Flowers, he's a guy that in a deep league, he's probably your 2, and he's worth playing. In a not-so-deep league, he could be your flex. He could be your 3, which I feel better about that. But, yeah, I mean, not bad to put out there. Now, Isaiah Likely, he has a hamstring injury. And unfortunately, God willing, he'll be okay. Isaiah, if he's hampered by a hamstring, fantasy-wise, this whole, him and Mark Andrews sharing everything, with him being hampered by a hamstring injury, that could mean that there's going to be more directed toward Mark Andrews. And if there's more directed toward Mark Andrews, then I would lean on him a little bit more to play this week. Because the tough thing is he's talented and Isaiah Likely's talented, but the issue becomes the fact that they're being used together. Because Isaiah Likely was filling in for when Mark Andrews got hurt. Season in, season out, he gets hurt. They bring in Isaiah Likely. Well, this year's the first year where they're playing them both. And, I mean, they're giving them both opportunities, which they're kind of, fantasy-wise, they're biting from each other. And I don't want this to be a situation where it's like, well, play this guy because this guy's hurt, because I don't want to see anybody hurt. And hopefully Isaiah's fine, and hopefully Isaiah can play. I will lean a little bit more on the side of Mark Andrews if Isaiah is not at full go. And it's hard because I think Mark Andrews is, I've thought for a long time that he's a good tight end option, one of the best. But the situation that he's in with Isaiah Likely is not good for you in fantasy. So I feel good about Derrick Henry if Lamar's able to go. Zay Flowers. And then if they keep him out, then I think Mark Andrews, if Isaiah Likely is out, then, or if he's not really competing that much due to his hamstring injury, then you want to play Mark, but you never want to do this in a situation. You never want it to come down to this. This is not me going, oh, yay, he's hurt, so then play this guy. It's me saying, you may want to play Mark Andrews this week, but it's not a great reason that's pushing for that. The reason is an injury to Isaiah Likely, which you don't want to see. So just covered this game for you, the Bengals at the Ravens. We're going to go into our next game. I will be circling the games as we go. So if you wonder where we are, just look at where the circle is. The Munich game has the Giants against the Panthers, and it's in Munich. It's in Germany. So it's considered Carolina giving up a home game, but obviously nobody's the home team in Germany. So unless Germany has a lot of Carolina fans, we'll see. I guess, maybe, that could happen. So Carolina in this matchup, we're going to go to them second, as they are the second team, or they're considered the home team. So we'll go to the Giants first. For the Giants, Tyrone Tracy Jr., he's had himself a nice rookie season, and he's going up against a terrible team. So I like Tyrone Tracy in the game. I like Malik Neighbors in this game as well. And on the other side, for the Carolina Panthers, Chuba has been getting involved. The Giants aren't that great either. So maybe you want to flex out Chuba. Xavier Legette, I'd look at him as a flex too. So, I would say Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors, yes. And then I would say Chuba Hubbard and Xavier Legette as flexes for you to put out there in this matchup. Next game that we're going to go to will bring us to our normal Sunday, our 1 o'clockers. We have New England at the Chicago Bears. The Patriots at the Bears. We're going to go to the Patriots first. And the Patriots in this matchup. The Patriots, and keep in mind here, folks, this was a matchup of two of the top quarterbacks chosen in the 2024 NFL Draft. You got Drake May, and you have Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams is banged up. He's got an ankle injury. So the hope is that he's going to be okay, but he currently has an ankle injury. If he's unable to go, then Tyson Bagent, who they put in last year, will be the quarterback. And I have his rookie refractor and a piece of his jersey. I have his rookie refractor patch card. So all I'm saying is if Tyson Bagent plays, again, not wanting to play because someone's injured, because you don't hope for that. If Tyson Bagent plays, then it stands to reason that maybe I can sell that card that I got. So, but again, I don't like seeing anybody injured, and I don't hope for that stuff ever. Ramondre Stevenson, I would say you could put him out there as a running back 2 this week. It's hard to really give you Patriots and say, I feel great about these guys. You know what I mean? So as far as fantasy football goes, looking at the Patriots who won against the Jets a couple weeks ago, they're 2-7. They're currently the holder of the number 1 pick if the NFL draft started today. They lost in overtime to a bad Titans team. And looking back at how the Patriots fared in that 20-17 loss, Drake May was the leading running back, 8 carries, 95 yards. He also was 29 of 41, 206, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Hunter Henry caught 7 of 8 for 56. Kendrick Bourne caught 4 of 6 for 41. Ramondre Stevenson had a touchdown out of the backfield and 5 catches. He only had 16 yards on the ground, but he had a rushing touchdown as well. Demario Douglas, 9 targets, 7 catches, 35 yards. He threw to a lot of different people. Speaking of Drake May, and if you're wondering why I'm doing that, saying, Dan, that's really annoying, it's how Soulja Boy says Drake's name when he's talking about Drake the rapper. So I'm going to go to Ramondre Stevenson. And, in this game against Chicago, I'm going to say Hunter Henry. I'm going to put him as like a mid-range tight end 1. On the other side of it, for Caleb Williams and the crew, if Caleb's able to go, I would have him as a quarterback 2. I'm not going to put him as a quarterback 1 right now. I'm not going to put him as the guy that you need to win your game. They just lost by 20 to Arizona. And DeAndre Swift, he's been doing okay. Rome Odunze has been doing good, their rookie wide receiver. So I would probably stick with Swift and Rome. Now, Swift in a deep league, he might be your 2. And in this game, I'm okay with him being your running back 2. I'm hoping that he can be a running back 3 for you. And then Rome, I like Rome in the matchup. I'm going to call him safely a flex wide receiver as well. and I'm going to put DJ Moore and Keenan Allen a hair behind him. And Cole Kmet, if Caleb Williams, well, really, if either quarterback's out there, Cole Kmet, I'm going to have him as a mid-range tight end one this week as well. I'm going to not strictly put him and Hunter Henry as like definitely play like a top tier, but I'm going to put him as mid-range ones. And I'll probably put Hunter Henry a little bit above Cole Kmet. The Bills are on the road at the Colts, and the Colts have made the decision that Anthony Richardson, who they spent a high draft pick on, is not going to be their quarterback right now. They're going to trusty Joe Flacco, a guy that I backed as a rookie. And he responded after, like, I backed him, predicted he would be a good quarterback. He responded by going to the playoffs. Now Joe Flacco has got yet another team to lead. He helped the Cleveland Browns last year. Now he has a chance to help the Colts. Well, in this game, I would play Josh Allen. I would play James Cook. Amari Cooper is on the injury report with a wrist injury. Thank goodness you don't need your hands as a wide receiver. So, Khalil and Keon Coleman's on the injury report as well with a wrist injury. So they got to stop playing patty cake in the locker room with the Bills. Khalil Shakir, I'm going to say, he'll get more work. I'm going to put him as, in this game, I'm going to put him as a wide receiver 2 because his value goes up if the other guys aren't able to play. Dalton Kincaid is a tight end 1. For the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor, I would play him. And then, looking at, the problem with, this is the thing with the Colts. I think Joe Flacco in reality can do some good things. I think in reality, Joe Flacco can keep his team in games. But the question becomes, what is he going to do to affect your fantasy? Because we're talking about fantasy football. And Joe, this past week, they lost to the Vikings on the road 21-13. He was 16-27, 179 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Jonathan Taylor, 13 carries for 48 yards, no touchdowns. He caught 3 out of the backfield of the 5 thrown his way. Josh Downs was involved. Adonai Mitchell, still as a rookie, not getting much of anything. 1 target, 1 catch. Michael Pittman's been really quiet. 4 targets, 1 catch, 14 yards. So, nothing really wows me with the Colts right now. If you want to put Michael Pittman out as a flex or Josh Downs out as a flex, I can understand that. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is worth putting out. But keep in mind, he's playing the Buffalo Bills. So, that's something that you really have to look to. The Bills have their moments where they give up a bunch of opportunities, but they also have their moments where they show you that they could be a team that's not only eyeing the playoffs, but eyeing a deep run in the playoffs. So, just the Colts are kind of a question mark right now, and that affects fantasy. If you have a question, send it in. I appreciate y'all watching and listening all around the world to the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. They're open 7 days a week, of course, on game day, and you can go there to 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus and enjoy the incredible atmosphere that they have and the fantastic food. If you're going to be watching with your buddies, with the girls, you're going to be watching at home in your little cave, your little oasis, then you can still get takeout and delivery from the Wildcat by calling 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222. If you have a question, send it to us on any one of our channels while you watch and listen. YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. The next game that we have up is the game that I predicted to be the Super Bowl a few years ago. When there was a Final Four, I predicted Minnesota and Jacksonville. And it ended up being the Patriots versus the Eagles, but not for lack of effort from both the Vikings and the Jaguars, who were within 4 points, and I was at that game in Foxborough. So the Vikings at the Jaguars, the Super Bowl we didn't get to see. Let's go to the Vikings here first. The Minnesota Vikings, now they've had a good season, but they've had up and down moments. They've had some moments where you sit there and say to yourself, they're able to gut things out. They're definitely able to gut things out. They're 6-2. Their losses that they have, they started out on a 5-game winning streak, and then they lost 2 in a row to the Lions, who are a playoff team, maybe a Super Bowl team, and at the Rams, who could be a playoff team, and then they beat the Colts most recently. Minnesota, for me, against the Jaguars, Sam Darnold, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and now that TJ Hawkinson is back, I would call him a mid-range tight end one. On the other side of it for the Jacksonville Jaguars are, they're 2-7. But as I said last week, they could very easily be 7-2. The five of the games that they lost, of the 7 that they lost, 5 of them, they were within 1 score. They lost on the road at the Dolphins by 3. They lost at home to the Browns by 5. They lost to the Texans on the road by 4. And they lost to the Packers at home by 3. And they just lost at the Eagles by 5. So they very easily could be 7-2. They're in these games. They're just not doing enough. And they have injuries to their offensive line, unfortunately, again. And God willing, that'll stop. But I really think that in this offseason, the Jaguars are going to have to address their team from the inside out, because in the words of George O'Leary, that's how you win championships. And they're going to have to figure out their offensive and defensive line. I'm not talking about bringing 1 or 2 guys in. I'm talking about bringing like 7 guys in and letting them duke it out. Now, Travis Etienne Jr. played in this game, 3 carries for 24 yards. Tank had 8 carries for 22. D'Ernest had 2 for 6. The team was very quiet running the ball, 18 carries for 60 yards, because Trevor had 5 for 8. But Trevor had 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. He had no passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 18 of 31, 169 yards. Evan Engram continues to be involved, the most targeted player in the receiving world for Trevor Lawrence. 10 targets for Evan Engram, caught 5, 45 yards. He led the team in targets, receptions, and yards in the game in the loss against the Eagles. Parker Washington got involved. Brian Thomas Jr. continues to get involved as a rookie. Travis Etienne caught 2 out of the backfields. D'Ernest Johnson had 1 thrown his way. He did not catch it. And that was actually the interception that was thrown to D'Ernest Johnson in the end zone at the end of the game. So in this matchup, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, I'm going to say Etienne, I'm going to call him a running back 2. I'm going to call Bigsby a running back 3, because it's going to be interesting to see. Tank did some good work with Travis out. We're going to see if they use him together. So I'm going to call him a 3, because I don't want you to have to lean on him. Brian Thomas Jr. is worth a flex, and Evan Engram's worth playing at tight end. He was a 1,000-yard tight end last year, and Evan Engram continues to be the guy that Trevor trusts. And Trevor trusts him down the stretch. That's a big thing to look at, is the fact that he doesn't just throw to his tight end. He throws to Evan Engram when they're trying to win a game. And last year, he was just shy of 1,000 yards last year. Last year, he had 963 yards. He had 114 catches, 143 targets, 4 touchdowns, and 963 yards for Evan Engram, just to make a note about that. So that's what I'd be playing in that world. We're going to go to the next game here, and then we're going to take a step aside for a fast break here in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. The Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're the Chiefs, but they're also the Chiefs. They've been cooking up a good season here. And you talk about how many teams lost so early on in this NFL season, showing the parity and saying, okay, there's not going to be a lot of undefeateds. Well, Kansas City's undefeated. When you look at the NFL, there's 32 franchises across America. 32. One of them is undefeated. Arizona leads the NFC West with a 5-4 record. Atlanta leads the NFC South with a 6-3 record. The Lions lead the NFC North with a 7-1 record, second best record in the NFL. The Commanders lead the NFC East with a 7-2 record. The Texans lead the AFC South with a 6-3 record. The Steelers lead the AFC North with a 6-2 record. The Bills lead the AFC East with a 7-2 record. And the only undefeated team, the AFC West, is led by the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 8-0. And the Chargers follow them with 5-3. The Broncos are 5-4. The Raiders are 2-7 in that division. Let's go to the Broncos first. in this. Bobo Nix, I like him. And I've said over and over again since the preseason that he would have a good season as a rookie. Not as good as Jaden Daniels, but I said, don't be surprised. Bo Nix, I had him as my sleeper of having a good season. I had Jaden Daniels, then Bo Nix. I was a little concerned about my pick. Because I'm like, if I pick Bo Nix, I don't think many people are going to follow suit. So if I'm wrong, it's going to be millions against me. If I'm right, well, I'll stand alone. So with a few people here. So Bo Nix, I like what he's doing. Probably not the game to put him out there. Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin, I'm not sold on this running back group fantasy-wise right now. Cortland Sutton, I would say Cortland Sutton, you could put him out there if you're 3 deep in wide receiver. Javonte Williams, if you got a deep league and you got to put out a third running back, I can understand it, but I'm not really. Now, keep in mind, Denver did beat Kansas City last year without Bo Nix. I think I was in New York City for that game. So it's not that it can't be done, and they're in a better shape than they were last year offensively, but Kansas City's Kansas City. I like Pat Mahomes in the game. I like Kareem Hunt in the game. Samaje Perine found the end zone in the last game. If you want to go 4 running backs, maybe you put them out there. D-Hop, I would say you could play D-Hop in this game. Keep in mind, Denver has a good defense, though, and they had a good defense last year. Xavier Worthy, I'm going to put him as a flex. I'll put D-Hop as a wide receiver 2. I'll put Kelsey as a 1. Just keep in mind that the Broncos are no slouch and that their defense is good and that they beat Kansas City last year. They almost beat Kansas City twice last year. So they barely lost to them, and then they played them again in a short amount of time. And because they played Kansas City twice in 17 days last year. October 12th, when I was in New York City, they lost 19-8, and then they played them October 29th to beat them 24-9. And that game was at home. This one's at Kansas City. And the Broncos this season, just to talk about what they've done defensively, the Broncos lost to the Seahawks in Week 1, held them to they allowed 26. They lost to Pittsburgh, but held Pittsburgh to 13. Then they beat Tampa, held them to 7. Beat the Jets, held them to 9. Beat the Raiders, held them to 18. Then they lost to the Chargers, gave up 23. Then they beat the New Orleans Saints, held them to 10. Held Carolina to 14. And then they gave up 41 to Baltimore most recently here. So it's going to be important to see what they do, because when you look at the Broncos, you say, okay, well, the Steelers have been pretty good this year, and they held them to 13. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who holds them to 1 score, but Denver did. The Jets have struggled to score, and in a defensive game, they won 10-9 in a baseball game, essentially. And then you look at, New Orleans, who's supposed to have a prolific offense, but New Orleans has struggled, so I don't know if you can really look at that 10 points that they allowed and say that was a full go New Orleans, and Carolina's a bad team. So really you look at what they did to Pittsburgh, what they did to Tampa, and how they gutted it out against the Jets as notables. Really the big ones are Tampa and Pittsburgh and what they did. So we'll see how their defense works against Kansas City, but Kansas City's got a lot of threats here, and I would look to them to do some good things in this game. So with that being said, we're going to take our first step aside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of this wonderful segment brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub. We will be back momentarily after this fast break to address the next game, and I'm going to circle it already here, which is going to be an NFC South matchup, Falcons at the Saints. We'll talk about it right after this fast break. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there was something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007 when When we first started the business in '07, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machines, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machines. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. And in a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, and it is Week 10 of the 2024-25 NFL season. If you have a question about your fantasy football team, send it in to us, and I'd be happy to help you. So, thank you to everybody that sent questions in over the years. We appreciate you so much. Next game up, Atlanta at New Orleans. Let's get to that game here, and we're going to go to Atlanta first. They are the road team. So the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Well, the Atlanta Falcons are playing pretty well. They're 6-3. The New Orleans Saints are not playing well at all. They're on the other side of this thing. They're both in the NFC South. I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins in this game. I think Kirk Cousins is worth playing in this game. I really do. Especially with guys being off. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. I got Algier as, behind Bijan, but both of them have been involved this year, which has been good. Drake London's questionable with a hip injury, so just monitor that. Kyle Pitts, still not getting involved as much, but maybe in this game he will. I got him as a tight end 1 in this game. On the other side of it, for the New Orleans Saints, I would say this is a tough one. The New Orleans Saints an offense that scored 91 points in the first 2 weeks. They probably wish that they scored less in the first 2 weeks and littered some of those points over other weeks, right? Didn't spend all 91 there, but used some of that 91 later on in the season. After scoring 91, they scored 12, 24, 13, 27 in a game. They gave up 51 to the Bucs in division. 10, 8. And most recently, they lost to the Carolina Panthers, 23-22. And not a lot of teams are losing to Carolina. Carolina's 2-7, but now the Saints are 2-7. So not great. They got the same record as the Carolina Panthers. And Alvin Kamara is really the only one that I would tell you to. I mean, Taysom Hill is the true flex. Alvin Kamara is the guy to play. And probably, I thought about it last week telling you to flex out Taysom Hill. This week I'm going to tell you to flex out Taysom Hill. But I like Alvin Kamara. But I'm leaning more on the side of the Falcons for fantasy. But Kamara, he's something else. He had 155 yards on the ground. Plus, he was the leading receiver for the team in the loss to Carolina. So that's something to look to. San Francisco at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's been all over the place. They've been hard to figure out this year, have they not? They're that team that you're like, oh, okay, they're going to be a threat. And then in some of these games, they score almost nothing. They've also been dealing with injury, which is not great by any stretch of the imagination. And unfortunately, going through the injuries that they've gone through, they're in a place right now where, you've had Godwin injured and you've had Mike Evans injured. Mike Evans is inactive for this game. Chris Godwin's on IR. And now Jalen McMillan out of Washington, their rookie, he's inactive. So their wide receivers are Trey Palmer, Sterling Shepard, who came from the Giants, Ryan Miller, Raheem Jarrett. That's what Tampa has. Their schedule continues to get more and more difficult, and they continue to not have really many to throw to. So I like San Fran's defense in this game. I like Brock Purdy in this game. They got a lot of injuries too, though. Debo is questionable with an oblique injury. God willing, he'll be okay. Brandon Ayuk is on injured reserve. Jawan Jennings is inactive. Well, he was inactive a couple weeks ago. We'll see if that stays. And Jordan Mason, who's filling in for Christian McCaffrey, he's questionable with a shoulder injury. McCaffrey is expected to return this week. But I'm going to check the latest on Christian McCaffrey just to update us here. Let's see. Return to practice post-bye week. So if Christian McCaffrey's able to go, you play Christian McCaffrey. Play Brock Purdy, George Kittle. Receiver-wise, it's difficult. I mean, Jawan Jennings, if he's healthy, you might want to flex him out, or Ricky Pearsall. God bless to him that he's alive. Go Gators. In the name of Jesus, appreciate that. He's okay. On Tampa's side of it, there's really nobody I feel great about because they don't have so many receivers on this team that they could stack the box. Rashad White, I'm going to call him a running back 2. I'm going to call Sean Tucker a running back 4. I don't really see a ton of fantasy value for Tampa right now, unfortunately, due to all of their injuries, which is really awful because Tampa could very well be a playoff team, but they've been dealing with a lot. And you got your 2 best guys out receiving, so that's not good. Pittsburgh at Washington. I think this game is going to be fun. I actually think this game might be better than you anticipate it's going to be because Washington's been really good. Pitt's been good. They just don't score a lot of points. They've been able to gut out these wins, which, kind of makes you feel about the Steelers of old. They're 6-2. Washington is 7-2. Russ the Bus Wilson, he is the guy right now, and they just got Mike Williams. Mike Williams was not working out with the New York Jets, and the New York Jets brought in Devontae Adams, so they really didn't need Mike Williams. Mike Williams is now on his 3rd team in less than a year. He was a Charger, then he was a Jet, now he's a Steeler. So when you look at how this team has fared most recently with their 6-2 record, Pittsburgh Steelers with 2 different quarterbacks, they started out the season winning 3 in a row. Then they lost 2 at the Colts and against the Cowboys. A lot of people have not lost to the Cowboys this year. Then they won the last 3. They just beat the Giants. That game was in Pittsburgh. And going back and looking at how the team fared, Russ the Bus had a touchdown, 20-28, 278 yards. Najee Harris had over 114 yards on the ground. Jalen Warren had 46 behind Najee. George Pickens had 74 yards. Van Jefferson, who came from the Rams, he had 62 yards. Calvin Austin III, who I covered at Memphis, he had a touchdown. 3 catches, 54 yards. And Pat Fryermuth, he caught the 2 thrown his way, and 19 total yards. So for Pittsburgh against Washington, I like Najee Harris in the game. I like Jalen Warren as a low-key flex. I like George Pickens as a wide receiver 2, safely a 3. And on Washington's side, I like Jaden Daniels. I like Austin Eckler. I like Eckler's a flex, though, for me. Brian Robinson Jr. has a hamstring injury, and I tell you all the time, hamstring and groin for running backs and wide receivers, the hamstring especially, is just a terrible injury to have for them because it's nagging, and I just hope that he'll be okay and be able to play at full go here. I like Terry McLaurin. I like Jaden Daniels. I like Zach. Feels so good at Ertz. And I like Austin Eckler as a flex out for you at the running back position. The next game that we have up is Tennessee at the Chargers. We have the Tennessee Titans at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Titans just won in overtime against the Patriots. And the Chargers, I mean, they have talent. They've also, they've gone through change. No Austin Eckler, no Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams for Justin Herbert. It was going to have to happen. I thought it was going to happen in a year. Jim Harbaugh came in and they cleaned out all 3 of those guys. And so we're going to start with Tennessee. Will Levis is still on the injury report. He's got an AC joint injury. He's questionable with that shoulder injury, so we'll see how this goes. Tony Pollard against the Chargers. I'm going to call Pollard a running back 3. I'm going to call Kelvin Ridley a low end. Well, because if Mason Rudolph's the quarterback, I'm going to say Kelvin Ridley, I'm going to say safely a 3. I mean, he's had some good numbers coming over from Jacksonville. He has done some things here. So if we look at it right now, I mean, Tennessee, Mason Rudolph, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 20 of 33 in the win over the Patriots, 240 yards. Tony Pollard had over 120 yards rushing. He had 28 carries, 128 yards, 4.6 yards a carry. Ridley did have 73 yards, 8 targets, 5 catches. Nick Westbrook, he had a touchdown, 5 catches, 6 targets. Okonkwo, their tight end, 3 catches on 4 targets, 38 yards. Nick Vannett had a touchdown as well in the game. Nick Vannett coming to them, Ohio State product, and I want to say Nick Vannett played for the, yeah, he did. I was right. He played for the Seahawks to start his career. Seahawks, Steelers, Broncos, Saints, Giants, Chargers, and now the Titans. So Nick Vannett's been around the block, but he did catch a touchdown for the Titans in their win. I mean, Tennessee, I'm going to say Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley. For the Chargers, I'm going to say Justin Herbert, J.K. Dobbins, Ladd McConkey, who the rookies become the number 1 target. So I would safely say those guys. Quentin Johnston, maybe flex him out. I'm going to call him a wide receiver 4 for this. The next one that we have up here, Jets at the Cardinals. I'm going to go with the New York Jets first, as they are the road team. And for the Jets, they just beat the Texans, which is confusing. So like it is rather confusing because this Jets team was kind of left for dead and then they beat a playoff team. But they won 21-13 at home in MetLife, Thursday Night Football. So they've had a longer week, which has been great. Aaron Rodgers had 3 touchdowns. Breece Hall, 74 yards, not bad. Devontae Adams doing good. Garrett Wilson doing good. So, I mean, the Jets are on the road, and they have to play the Cardinals. And the Cardinals are such a strange team. They have a lot of talent. This is why I didn't want Marvin Harrison Jr. to go there. Because it's like they have a lot of talent, but they're all over the place. Sometimes they score, sometimes they don't. I feel like an Almond Joy commercial. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. And they're 5-4. They have a winning record, Arizona. They're not out of the playoff hunt. They've won 3 games in a row and 4 of the last 5, for goodness sakes. They just beat the Bears 29-9 at home in Arizona. They're home again for this one. And taking a look at Arizona most recently, Kyler Murray, he did not throw a touchdown. He did not throw an interception. 13 of 20, 154 yards. James Conner had over 100 yards on the ground, 107. Amari Demercado had a touchdown on 4 carries, 59 yards, 14.8 yards a carry, James Conner had 5.9 yards a carry. Trey McBride, I thought he was going to be that big-time rookie tight end, and in his second year, he's really come up here. Marvin Harrison in his rookie year, most recently 5 targets, 2 catches, 34 yards. Marvin Harrison this season has totaled 445 yards, and he has 5 touchdowns, which is tied for 7th. So, not bad, right? He's a rookie. He's tied for 7th in the nation for touchdowns. So, for the New York Jets in this one, this could be the week you play Aaron Rodgers because there's 4 teams off. So, I'm not against playing Rodgers. I'm going to call him a mid-range quarterback 1. Breece Hall, yes. Garrett Wilson, yes. Devontae Adams, yes. Braylon Allen, I'm going to say running back 4. On the other side of it, James Conner, yes. Marvin Harrison Jr. as a wide receiver 3. Trey McBride, I'm okay with you using him as a tight end 1. That's where I would sit with this. And shout out to my guy Zay Jones, who's out in Arizona now. I miss Zay in Jacksonville very much, so God bless to him. Always nice to me. Philadelphia at Dallas. I don't know why this isn't Sunday night or Monday night football. I guess it's not because Dallas is just really bad this year. They're very, very atrocious. And so we're going to start with Philadelphia, and then we'll go to Dallas. And listen, in the comfort of my own home, Dallas is my second favorite team. As a broadcaster, I'm impartial. And Dallas is awful this year. So Jalen Hurts is worth the play. Saquon's got a back injury. He's left him questionable. Hopefully he's able to go, God willing. If he's able to go, put him out there. If not, Kenneth Gainwell has some value against the Cowboys. I'm going to make him a running back 2, safely a 3. A.J. Brown's going to be out for this week. This is very confusing. It says he's out for this week, but he's expected to return this week. That's very strange. Let me double check on A.J. Brown since that made absolutely no sense what I just read. So he has a knee injury. I'm looking at his update here. Bruised knee. Any word on this? He's day-to-day. Okay. So right now, A.J. Brown is day-to-day. I'm looking for any of the more recent news here. So yeah, I mean we'll see. So if he's able to go, then A.J. Brown's worth the play. If not, Devontae Smith. If A.J. Brown doesn't go, then Devontae and Jahan Dotson isn't a bad bet to put out there for you. Maybe you can get him on the waiver wire or in free agency. On the other side, for the Cowboys, they're not good. And fantasy-wise, it's a head-scratcher. Why they didn't take Derrick Henry, why they brought back Zeke Elliott. There's a lot of things that don't make any sense. They're 3-5. I mean, they're not out of the realm of possibility. And, I mean, they did beat the Steelers. So, the Steelers are a pretty good team this year. They were able to beat them 20-17. I want to take a look at the Cowboys most recently here. And their loss to the Falcons at the Falcons, 27-21. I mean, they played them to within 6. They just don't close out a lot of these games. And Dak, Cooper Rush, Brian Anger, their punter, threw a pass here. Rico Dowdle had 12 carries for 75 yards, 6.3 yards a carry, not bad. Jake Ferguson, 10 targets, 7 catches, 71 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 12 targets, 6 catches, 47 yards. Rico caught a touchdown on the backfield. Jalen Tolbert, he continues to get involved, Jalen Tolbert. So looking at Dak, though, Dak is out this week. God willing, he'll be okay. And God bless to him. Hamstring injury. He's out until like week 14. Cooper Rush is going to be the quarterback of this game. Rico Dowdle, I would flex him out. CeeDee Lamb, he's on the injury report as well. God willing, he'll be okay. He's questionable. He's got an AC joint injury in his shoulder. So look to the tight end and the running back. That's what is typical of the backup quarterback. So Jake Ferguson, I'm going to call him a low-end 1, high-end 2 tight end, and Rico Dowdle, I'm going to call him a flex-out running back. That's all I got for you as far as Dallas goes. We're going to take our final step aside in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Open 7 days a week, and you can call them for takeout and delivery at 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. We'll take a step aside in the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Week 10, 2024-25 NFL season, Sunday and Monday Night Football, to finish us off right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off at TL Ave, is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. They have everything when it comes to sports cards: basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer, as well as Disney Lorcana. They have Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon. You could find so much there. They have the one-touch cases, those magnetic cases to protect your cards. They have all different size top loaders. They have sleeves, binders, boxes to put your cards in. You can literally walk in there knowing nothing about cards. They can help you learn about cards, ask you what you like, lead you to that place, get those packs, get those boxes, get those singles, get those graded cards, and then have a place to put them. It's a one-stop shop. I was in there yesterday. Love being around the guys. Shout out to Josh, Anthony, Joel, Alex, and the crew. Always love going out there. Love the hospitality. Love how much they work, how hard they work, the things that they do, and just constantly giving all they can. It really does mean a lot to me. So just never think that it goes unnoticed, gentlemen. I appreciate it tremendously, and I know that this community does. I know that a bunch of you have gone out to GG Cards and Breaks because you've trusted my opinion on them, and I suggest that you continue to go out. If you're on the fence, if you haven't collected cards in a while, if you've never collected cards, if you have a place that you typically go to GG Cards and Breaks. Give them a shot. Tell them DT sent you. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Right there off of Teal Ave. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6. And Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, we're going to do Sunday and Monday Night Football. Sunday Night Football, I am ecstatic about. Now, the Houston Texans had a bad game against the New York Jets in East Rutherford, New Jersey on the road. But here's the thing. Houston played Thursday Night Football. And now they're playing Sunday Night Football. So they have a bunch of extra time. Because you're playing Thursday night. So you're not playing. So you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. People are playing on Sunday and Monday. You're not. Now you're not. Now it's not Thursday to Thursday. It's Thursday to Sunday. And it's not even Sunday at 1 or Sunday at 4. It's Sunday night. So hopefully Houston will bounce back, make this a game. Detroit's going to be fun. Detroit is absolutely going to be fun to watch. Detroit's been fun to watch all season. So we're going to go to the Detroit Lions first because they are the road team. And then we'll head off to the Houston Texans. I love this Monday nighter. Think about a few years ago. If people saw Houston and Detroit, they're like, ugh, what a gross game. Now you look at it and you're like, ooh, 2 playoff teams. 2 teams that can make it to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Play them all for the Detroit Lions. Jameson Williams is suspended until this week. If he's able to go, then, I mean, you could put him out there. Is Jameson Williams he's not he's going to be back for this Texans matchup. So, I mean, I put more on Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams has been in the league for like 5 seconds and he's been suspended twice. So, it's not good. I'm going to call him a wide receiver 2, a 3 for sure, maybe a low end 2. C.J. Stroud worth the play, Joe Mixon worth the play, Tank Dell worth the play. Dalton Schultz is a little sneaky one there. I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1 this week. And then let's do some Monday night, shall we? So Monday Night Football, the Dolphins, and listen, I want Tua to be healthy for the rest of his life, by the grace of God, in Jesus' name, most precious. Tua has a faith in God, and I love that. And I respect it. Tua is a really good quarterback and seems to be a good leader. I want him to stay healthy. I never want him to take a bad hit again, and I absolutely don't ever want him to have a concussion. I don't want that for anybody. He changes the dynamic of this team. The Buffalo Bills game that Miami played this past week in Buffalo was an instant classic. Miami's 2-6, but keep in mind, they played most of that without Tua. And they lost 30-27 on the road at the Bills. The week before, they lost by a point. So they're in these games. Just like another team in Florida, the Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-7, but very easily could be 7-2. Tua in the game against the Bills, 25 of 28, insane. 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Devon Achane, 12 carries, 63 yards, 5.3 yards a carry, touchdown. Mostert, 10 carries, 56 yards, 5.6 yards a carry. Tyreek Hill, 4 catches, 5 targets, 80 yards. Achane out of the backfield, 8 catches on 8 targets and a touchdown. Dude is balling out this season. 7.3 on the average for receptions. He had 58 yards. They're just a good team. And Jalen Waddle, he had a touchdown in the game despite the fact of having a quiet day. So, you know, in this game for Miami at the Rams, I like Tua on Monday night because you might have some guys off this week. I mean, you look at maybe you have, Deshaun Watson. Maybe you have Deshaun Watson. Maybe you have Jordan Love. Maybe you have Gardner Minshew. Maybe you have Geno Smith. There's a better chance you have Geno Smith or Jordan Love, but I'm okay with playing Tua on Monday night. Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle while you work. I'm okay with all that. For the Rams, now the Rams, keep in mind, folks, this is a team that was left for dead by some. But they're 4-4, very much in the playoff hunt. And some people, they're on a 3-game winning streak. They beat the Raiders at home. They beat the Vikings, who are a good team. They beat them by 10 at home. And they just beat the Seahawks on the road in OT, 26-20. So the Rams, most recently, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception for Matty Stafford, 25 of 44, 298. Kyren Williams, 22 carries, 69 yards, 3.1 yards a carry. Kyren Williams is he's probably the best thing to come out of Notre Dame offensively in a really long time for this team. The Smitty said, Stafford or May? Ooh, that's a good question. Stafford or May? I'm going to say Stafford, Smitty. And then Gesicki, Laporta, or Hawkinson? I'm going to say, that's a tough one. I got to go with my gut. I'm going to say Hawkinson. That's, you got to go with your gut, Dan. Go with your gut. I'm going to say Hawkinson, Laporta, then Gesicki. is how I would go. Thanks for the question, Smitty. Appreciate you. I know you've already subscribed, so thank you. Shout out to you for that. Cooper Kupp had 11 catches on 14 targets in the win over the Seahawks on the road, 104 yards. Demarcus Robinson had 2 touchdowns, 9 targets, 6 catches, 94 yards. Kyron Williams caught one out of the backfield for 26. Puka got ejected for throwing a punch. So God willing, he'll get his act together. 4 targets, 1 catch, 11 yards. And he's just coming back, so he's going to have to figure that out. Matty Stafford, I'm okay with playing Matt Stafford in this game. I'm going to call him a low-end quarterback one this week. I'm going to call it mid-range to low-end. I feel like they could score 30 points, and they're playing at home. I like Kyron Williams in the game. I like Cooper Kupp in the game. I like Puka Nacua in the game. Demarcus Robinson, a sneaky flex. A lot of value on Monday night, which is great to see. So, in the words of Anthony Campbell, you'll love to see it. So, with that being said, that is our Fantasy Football Power Hour, giving you all the information on every single game for Week 10 of the 2024-25 season. And, of course, remember, do not play any Browns, Packers, Raiders, or Seahawks unless you like having a goose egg. Don't play those teams. Don't put anybody out there from those teams because they are not playing this week. So that is a very simple decision for you. Should be a very simple decision for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Fantasy Football Power Hour, probably presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Go check out the Wildcat on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, 7 days a week. And, of course, for Takeout and Delivery, call 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222. Smitty said, if T. Higgins doesn't play, you would start Gesicki? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. C-Dub said, keep grinding, dog. Thank you, sir. C-Dubs, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I appreciate the love this morning. Appreciate the positivity, C-Dubs and Smitty. I want to thank my guests here today. Big time thanks to the Dolphin Dive guests that we had in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Lemoyne College Dolphins. Thanks to Jack Gibson, the top finisher in the NEC meet for 2024 for men's cross country at Lemoyne, and the top finisher for women's cross country at Lemoyne in the NEC meet this year, Anita Shep-Cheer. I want to thank her for being a part of the show today. Shep-Cheer, pardon me, for being a part of the show today from Kenya. And big time shout out to a coach I have a ton of respect for, who's having a tremendous season with his guys, Rhett Lashley, SMU Mustangs head football coach. Thank you to him, Chris Smith, and SMU for the time as always. And thank you all for watching and listening to the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. We got some messages that came in here. C-Dub says, stream seems nice, just did. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And Smitty said he's writing it down. So appreciate you, Smitty, very much so. So with that being said, I want to thank y'all for tuning in wherever you are around the country and the world, youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, worldwide, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're like, Dan, it's 11:44 on the East Coast. Yes, we underpromise and overdeliver. Thank you for being here. You can also find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, Player FM, and Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. A big time thanks to our incredible partner down in North Carolina. If you are in the Southern Pines area by Pinehurst Golf Courses, do not hesitate to go over to the best sandwich shop you're going to find. That is the Brooklyn Pickle on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And, of course, our Central and Upstate New York team here, Carvel DeWitt. You can get my DT Dolphin every day of the week. On Wednesdays, it's buy one, get one. Today's Wednesday. So you can buy one, get one DT Dolphin today. Go to 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Ask for the DT Dolphin. There's a sign there, shows you what's in it. It's mint chocolate chip, green for the Dolphins, hot fudge, whipped cream, and a cherry. topped off with green and gold sprinkles and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. Get the DT Dolphin any day of the week, exclusively at Carvel DeWitt. And on Wednesdays, you can get 2 for the price of 1. So go over there today and get 2 DT Dolphins. Bring somebody you love. The Wildcat Sports Pub, Servomation, reimagining, reinvigorating, and just completely retooling what it means to have vending in your stores, vending in your schools, vending in a rest stop, vending in a business. I never knew that vending could have this quality, this variety, and this technology. Go to servomation.com to learn more. Mother's Cupboard, where I have my very own sandwich, the Cuse Mac Mother, and they sell many of those sandwiches, and that is because you are awesome. Those of you in the community, those of you that travel into the community, getting my breakfast sandwich exclusively at Mother's Cupboard, I cannot thank you enough. Love to Pete, Amy, and the whole team at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse. They're open 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. daily. And all you got to do is ask for the Cuse McMother. There is a poster there so you can see a picture of it, see a picture of me and all that info. It is bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and have it with syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. The Cuse McMother is waiting for you at Mother's Cupboard today. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. It will ignite all of your taste buds, sweet and savory, at Ma and Pa's. You can go to maandpaspopcorn.com to order outside of Central New York. So if you're in a different state or if you're in a different part of New York, go to maandpaspopcorn.com today and see what I'm talking about. GG Cards and Breaks, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Fire Pit, Barbecue and Saloon, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Today we have a double dose of the Dolphin Dive. We underpromise and overdeliver here with Lemoyne. Over 3 years of being their first ever exclusive partner in the history of the school. And we continue on with all those stories. Student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt as well. When you're on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can find our Lemoyne playlist. The Dolphins are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. There's an article written about their men's basketball game, a valiant effort against the Syracuse Orange this week in the Dome to start off the week and start off their season. They only lost by 4. I think some people had them losing by 40. And they led most of the first half and part of the second half. The Dolphins, great start off to their season by all stretches of the imagination. And so very excited for that. Lemoyne on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, dt.com's homepage, and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com and Fins Way Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats every month during the Bobcat Buzz. And that Bobcat Buzz, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, as well as baseball and esports. You will find your Bobcats today. I'm going to be doing a ton of stuff with them. Today's the selection show. They're going to find out where they're going to be playing for men's and women's soccer in the national tournament. They have a national champion in women's soccer and a multi-time national champion in men's soccer, and they're vying to win a national championship in both once again. And I will be with them on campus at James Street in Syracuse today. And I am going to suggest to you to watch every single second of that Bobcat Buzz. I'll be emceeing the event. I will be watching the selection show with both teams, and then I'll be doing interviews after the fact. You don't want to miss a moment of the Bobcat Buzz extravaganza that's going to be happening today. Stay close to our social media to find out more information. You can find them on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You also find the Bobcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more info, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. what it is, what it be. That big old B tells you the Bearcats are right here on Wake Up Call. Exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. You will find them every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time in what I call Bearcat Time. Moments with Marshall throughout the year with Gene Marshall, Binghamton University Athletics Director, and the Bearcat Break Room, student athletes, coaches, and administration joining the show to tell their stories. And this week, you heard from Becca Kessler, the goalkeeper of the Binghamton University women's soccer team, who blocked 4 of 6 penalty kicks to help her team move on to their game in the America East postseason semifinal tournament, which is at the University of New Hampshire this Thursday, November 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Binghamton University can be found by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course find the Binghamton playlist. You'll also find the Bearcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you to Jack. Thank you to Anita. Thank you to Rhett. And thank you to all the good parents out there that are raising their kids and loving their kids up and trying to and teaching them how to love and not to hate. Folks, I hope you voted. If you didn't vote, well, to me, it's hard to have an opinion. I hope you went out and voted. I hope you exercised your right to vote if you could. And I want to thank everybody that voted. From everything I'm hearing, extremely high voter turnout by state, by the country itself. Whether you like who won or you don't, it is time to unify our country, to work together, and in my opinion, to put God first. So, this morning, I'm very happy to know that we as a nation are alive, we are breathing, and just as I spoke with Jack about, it is a community of people that is better than the individual. Let us work together. I hope that the Democratic Party will concede, as they asked the Republican Party to do if it was flipped. I hope that they can concede and congratulate. I hope we can be adults, because children are watching and adults are watching. And I hope that we can move forward together toward the promise of a better present and future. I don't care what party you're a part of. I don't care where you lean. What I care about now is that this country heals. This country stops shaming each other, attacking each other, and anyone in the media that is personally attacking someone, attacking a group of people, being hateful, disgusting, vile, angry, and just some of the things I've said, I don't even know if they have words. Either change your behavior or stop being a member of the media. We have an incredible amount of power in the media to affect the hearts and minds of people. Do not use that to teach people to hate. So this morning, I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what party you're a part of. And I don't care what you think about the results. What I care about today is that you look to your neighbor to your right, you look to your neighbor to your left, and you find a way. And on the screen, it looks opposite because it flips. If you're wondering why I said right and left and it looked opposite to you. You look to your neighbor to your right, you look to your neighbor to your left. You give them a wink, you say good morning, and you build a community together. This is not about red and blue. It's about red, white, and blue. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless you all. God bless America. God bless this world. God bless the entire creation that God has given us. To every man, woman, and child, every animal, every tree, I am happy to be a part of the greater world, the universe, and I'm happy to be a child of God. And I knew that no matter who won, Jesus is still on the throne this morning. He is still our King. So, be peaceful, be confident, be good, stand up for what you believe in, but be respectful and treat others the way you want to be treated. This country is not one person, one office. It is all of us. And it's time that we step up and put love in front of hate, love in front of differences, love in front of opinions, love in front of everything. I love you. God bless you. Take the stress out of your life. Be good to each other. As always, God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll see you tonight at Avicoli's, 7 p.m. tonight, with the Liverpool football team, who is playing in the sectional semifinals with an opportunity to play for the championship in Section 3. They'll be with me tonight at Avicoli's, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. Today, November 6th, 7 p.m. We'll see you there. In the meantime, for Wake Up Call, for all of my wonderful partners, have a beautiful day. God bless you all. God bless America. And God bless the entire universe. We'll talk soon.